I was turned down on a blind date until a woman suddenly asked, "Would you think about becoming my husband?" Flying cars zoomed overhead, leaving trails of glowing light, and holographic billboards flashed ads for everything from robotic pets to virtual vacations. Despite the city's dazzling technology, Eli felt his own heart racing in a very old-fashioned way. A blind date. He had never been on one before. Actually, he wasn't sure why his friends convinced him to try it. "It's 2147, his best friend had said. "A matchmaking AI can find you someone perfect in seconds. Trust me, Eli, you'll thank me later." But now, standing outside the small, glowing cafe called Starlight Brews, Eli wondered if the AI had made a mistake. Inside, the cafe was a mix of old charm and new tech. Holographic menus floated above each table, and tiny robot waiters zipped around with drinks. People laughed and chatted, enjoying their drinks while small drones delivered desserts. The atmosphere was cheerful, almost festive, but Eli felt like a visitor in another world. He glanced at the time on his wrist display, 3 minutes until his date arrived. His palms were sweaty and he tried to remember what his friends had told him. "Just be yourself," they had said. "Easy, easy." It didn't feel easy at all. Then the door slid open. Eli's eyes followed a figure that seemed to glow in the warm cafe lights. A woman walked in, graceful and confident, scanning the room until her eyes landed on him. Eli straightened up, trying to look calm, although inside he was a bundle of nerves. "Eli?" she asked, her voice smooth and pleasant. "Yes, that's me," he replied, standing up quickly. "I'm Mara," she said, extending her hand politely. They shook hands and Eli noticed a hint of hesitation in her eyes, though he couldn't tell why. They took a seat at a small table near the window and for a moment there was silence. Eli cleared his throat. "So, the AI says we're compatible," he began, trying to sound casual. Mara smiled politely, but it didn't reach her eyes. "Yes, it did," she said. "But honestly, I think I'll pass. I don't feel the connection." Eli blinked. "Wait, what?" Mara shrugged, her expression apologetic. "I'm sorry, I just don't think this is going to work. Good luck, though." Before he could respond, she stood up and walked toward the door. Eli sat there, frozen. The buzzing neon lights of the city outside seemed to blur. His mind raced. Was it something I said? Did I look weird? He felt a strange mix of embarrassment and disappointment. For a moment he considered just leaving quietly and pretending it hadn't happened. But as he rose from the table, he noticed the cafe's holographic displays flicker strangely. A soft hum filled the air, and the temperature seemed to drop slightly. Confused, Eli stepped outside. The streets were still bustling with flying cars and pedestrians, but something felt different. A small crowd had gathered a few meters away, forming a circle around someone. Eli's curiosity got the better of him. He walked closer. In the center of the crowd stood a woman unlike anyone Eli had ever seen. She had sharp, striking features, and her clothing seemed both futuristic and elegant, unlike anything sold in stores. A faint glow surrounded her, almost like a holographic shimmer, but it wasn't digital, it was real. Eli felt drawn to her, as if something deep inside his chest told him he needed to listen. As he approached, the woman's eyes met his and she smiled. "Eli," she said, her voice calm yet commanding, "would you think about becoming my husband?" Eli froze. He had heard proposals in movies and stories, but never like this. Not from a stranger, not in the middle of a busy street, not with such intensity. Excuse me," he stammered. The woman laughed softly, but it wasn't a casual laugh. It carried authority, mystery, and a hint of amusement. "I am Commander Lyra," she explained. "I come from a research colony far from Earth. My people need someone compatible. And according to the records, you fit the criteria." Eli's mind tried to process the words. "Compatible? What are you talking about?" Lyra's expression softened. "I know this sounds strange, even impossible, but it is true. My colony has faced many challenges." Our survival depends on the continuation of certain genetic traits, human traits, and you, Eli, are important. Eli took a step back, still stunned. He had come to the city for a blind date, thinking the worst that could happen was awkward conversation. Now a mysterious woman was asking him to consider a life completely unimaginable. "Look," Eli said finally, trying to gather his thoughts, "I don't even know you. And you're asking me to, what? Leave everything I know and go with you, to some colony?" Lyra nodded. "Yes. But I am not asking for a final answer yet. I only want you to think about it. Humans have a rare ability to adapt and survive, even in unknown conditions. That is why you were chosen. Your courage, intelligence, and kindness make you perfect for this journey." Eli swallowed hard. His heart was racing again, not from embarrassment this time, but from a mixture of fear and excitement. Could this really be happening? The crowd around them had grown silent, sensing the gravity of the moment. Some whispered, pointing at the glowing woman and the man frozen in disbelief. But Eli didn't care about them. He only cared about the strange, glowing figure in front of him. "Why me?" he asked, his voice barely above a whisper. Lyra's eyes softened. "Because humans like you have something special, something that cannot be replicated by machines or calculated by AI. You have spirit, determination. You can survive where others might fail. That is why you were chosen." Eli felt a surge of conflicting emotions. On one hand, the proposition sounded completely insane. On the other, there was a part of him that wanted to say yes immediately, just to see the universe beyond Earth. Lyra seemed to read his thoughts. "I know this is a lot to take in," she said gently. "You don't have to answer now, but consider it. Adventure, discovery, and a chance to make a real difference. A life unlike anything you've imagined." Eli nodded slowly. He still felt unsteady, but something inside him stirred, a spark of curiosity, wonder, and courage. Maybe this was the kind of life he had been searching for without even knowing it. For a moment, they stood in silence, the sounds of the city fading around them. Eli looked up at the glowing sky above Neo Mumbai, with flying cars weaving through the neon lights. He felt small and human, yet for the first time he also felt like he mattered. Finally, he said, I'll think about it." Lyra smiled, a soft, knowing smile. "That is all I ask. I will be in touch. The stars will wait for you, Eli." With that, she turned and disappeared into the crowd, leaving behind a faint shimmer in the air. Eli stood frozen, unsure if he had dreamed the encounter, but deep down he knew it was real. As he walked home that night, the city lights reflecting in his eyes, Eli felt a strange mix of fear, excitement, and anticipation. The blind date had been a disaster, but life had suddenly opened a door he never imagined existed. He glanced up at the night sky. Somewhere beyond the glowing cities and floating cars, Lyra's colony waited. And for the first time in his life, Eli wondered, could he really leave everything behind and embrace a future among the stars? The answer was not yet clear. But one thing was certain. Eli's life would never be the same again. The next morning, Eli woke up with the sunlight streaming through his apartment windows. He rubbed his eyes, still thinking about the strange woman, Commander Lyra, who had appeared out of nowhere the night before. Her words echoed in his mind. "Would you think about becoming my husband?" It seemed impossible, almost unreal. He had gone from a failed blind date to being asked to join a mysterious colony among the stars. For a moment, he wondered if it had been a dream. Yet, the faint shimmer he had seen around her lingered in his memory, and the urgency in her voice told him it was real. Eli spent the day trying to focus on normal life. He walked to his favorite cafe, hoping a strong cup of coffee would help clear his head. He watched the city around him, drones delivering packages, holographic ads flashing in every corner, and people moving briskly as if they had somewhere important to be. Yet, his mind was elsewhere. By evening, Eli received a message on his personal communicator. The screen lit up with a strange emblem he didn't recognize, a glowing circle with intricate patterns that seemed almost alive. "Eli," the message began, in Lyra's calm but commanding voice. "I understand you were surprised yesterday. That is normal. I do not ask for immediate answers, but time is limited. I will arrive at your location tomorrow at 900 hours. Be ready to come with me." Eli stared at the message, heart pounding. Come with her? Where? Why? He felt excitement and fear twisting together inside him. He knew that agreeing to meet her would change his life forever. The next morning, he waited nervously outside his apartment. The city was already alive with movement. Flying cars passed overhead, neon signs reflected in puddles from last night's rain, and the air buzzed with energy. At exactly 900 hours, a quiet hum filled the street. Eli turned, and there she was, Commander Lyra, standing gracefully on the pavement. She looked even more striking in daylight. Her uniform, or whatever it was, glimmered faintly as if it had been woven from light itself. She smiled at him. "Good morning, Eli," she said. "I am glad you came." I wasn't sure I would," he admitted. "This is all so sudden. I don't even know where we're going." Lyra's expression softened. "All will be explained. Please trust me." Eli hesitated, then nodded. Something about her calm, confident presence made him feel like saying no was impossible. She gestured toward a sleek, metallic vehicle parked nearby. It hovered a few inches above the ground, glowing softly. "This will take us to the spaceport," she explained. "From there, our journey begins." Eli stepped inside, heart racing. The interior was spacious and quiet, with a large, transparent dome above them, showing the city skyline. The vehicle lifted smoothly into the air, gliding silently above the streets. As they traveled, Lyra spoke. "I understand this is difficult to comprehend, but my colony depends on certain human traits: intelligence, courage, adaptability, compassion. You possess all of these, Eli. That is why you were chosen." Eli swallowed. "Chosen for what exactly?" Lyra's eyes held a serious intensity. "For the survival of our people. We are explorers, scientists, and caretakers of knowledge, but we face a problem: a lack of genetic diversity. Our future depends on humans who can thrive in new environments. That is where you come in." Eli blinked, trying to absorb her words. It sounded like something out of a science fiction novel, yet here he was, riding above Neo Mumbai in a hovering vehicle with a woman who claimed to need him for survival of a distant colony. "Why me?" he asked again. Lyra's gaze was steady. "Because humans like you are rare. You think critically under pressure, you care for others, and you have courage beyond what most can imagine. The AI detected these traits in you. I saw them in person last night. That is why you are perfect for this mission." Eli felt a strange mixture of pride and fear. The idea that he could matter so much to someone, and to a whole community he had never met, was overwhelming. The vehicle landed softly at the spaceport, a massive structure filled with starships of all shapes and sizes. The scale of it was breathtaking. Ships hovered on landing pads, some glowing with energy, others sleek and metallic. People and beings from different planets moved purposefully, attending to their tasks. Lyra led him to a starship that seemed unlike any he had seen before. It was long and elegant, with smooth curves and a faint blue glow along its edges. The ship's entrance opened automatically as they approached. "This is our vessel," Lyra said. "It will take us to my colony. Are you ready?" Eli hesitated for a moment. He thought of his apartment, his friends, and the life he had known. Then he looked at Lyra, and the spark of adventure that had stirred inside him last night returned with full force. "Yes," he said finally, "I'm ready." The interior of the ship was both futuristic and surprisingly welcoming. Soft lighting illuminated the hallways, and touch panels displayed information about the ship's systems. Lyra guided him to a small observation deck, where he could see the stars beginning to appear in the darkening sky above Earth. As the ship launched, Eli felt the familiar pull of gravity fade. The city below grew smaller, until it was just a glowing cluster of lights on a blue-green planet. For the first time, Eli truly realized that he was leaving Earth behind, embarking on a journey into the unknown. During the first hours of travel, Lyra explained more about her colony. It was located on a planet called Virlia, far beyond the solar system. The colony had been established decades ago as a research hub and a safe haven for humans willing to explore the stars. Life there was peaceful, advanced, and focused on science, learning, and survival. Eli listened, fascinated. "And my role?" he asked again, trying to grasp the full scope of what he was being asked. Lyra's eyes softened. "Your role is not just genetic. You will also bring human creativity, problem-solving, and emotional intelligence. We need humans who can think, care, and act when situations are uncertain. You have that potential, Eli, and you will be part of our community, contributing in every way you can." Eli nodded slowly, trying to match the excitement he felt with understanding. He realized that this was more than a personal adventure. It was a chance to make a difference for an entire group of people, a community that depended on humans like him. As the ship traveled through space, they passed asteroid belts, colorful nebulae, and strange, distant planets that glowed faintly in the darkness. Eli stared in awe at the beauty of the universe, feeling both small and incredibly alive. Lyra noticed his wonder. "Do not be afraid, Eli. You will learn quickly. Humans have a natural ability to adapt to new environments. That is why you were chosen." The hours turned into days, and Eli began to adjust to life on the ship. He learned to operate basic systems, help with navigation, and assist Lyra in minor tasks. Each day, he felt more confident and capable. Despite the vastness of space and the strangeness of his situation, Eli discovered that he could handle challenges with determination and thoughtfulness. One evening, as they floated silently past a massive asteroid field, Eli turned to Lyra. "I still can't believe all of this is real. It's overwhelming," Lyra smiled. "Yes, it is, but it is also extraordinary. Few humans ever experience the universe this way. Few are called to something greater. You are part of that, Eli." He nodded, feeling a mix of fear, pride, and anticipation. For the first time in his life, Eli realized that being chosen for something extraordinary did not mean he had to be perfect. It meant that he had the courage to try, to adapt, and to embrace the unknown. As the stars streaked past the observation deck, Eli knew one thing for certain. His life had changed forever. He had gone from being rejected on a blind date to being invited on a journey that could alter the future of an entire colony. And while the path ahead was uncertain, he felt ready. Because for the first time, Eli understood that humans were not just passengers in the universe. They were explorers, thinkers, and survivors. And he, Eli, was about to discover just how far that could take him. The hum of the ship, the glow of the stars, and the presence of Commander Lyra beside him formed a new rhythm. A rhythm that whispered of adventure, discovery, and a life that no one on Earth could have imagined. And somewhere deep inside, Eli smiled. The universe was vast, the future unknown, and the adventure had only just begun. The starship hummed quietly as it glided through the endless black of space. Outside the observation deck, stars flickered like distant fireflies, and nebulae painted the darkness with colors Eli had never imagined. He still felt a mix of awe and fear. The universe was far larger than he had ever thought, and he was only a small human among its countless wonders. Lyra noticed his wide-eyed stare. "It is beautiful, isn't it?" she asked. Eli nodded, unable to speak. "It's incredible," he finally managed. "I never thought space would feel alive like this," Lyra smiled. "It is alive, but you must remember it can also be dangerous. Space does not forgive carelessness. That is why we prepare, plan, and stay vigilant. You, Eli, will need to understand that." Eli took a deep breath. He knew she was right. Even though he was amazed by the view, he could not forget the responsibility he had taken on. He was leaving Earth behind, not just for adventure, but to contribute to the survival of a colony far away. The first challenge came sooner than he expected. The ship's alarm suddenly blared, a deep, vibrating sound that shook the cabin. Red lights flashed across the deck. "Status report," Lyra commanded, moving swiftly to the control panels. Eli hurried to help, though he had only basic understanding of the ship's systems. "Sensors show an asteroid field ahead. Some pieces are moving faster than predicted." Lyra's eyes narrowed. "Then we must navigate carefully. I need you at the secondary control station. Help me calculate the trajectory." Eli nodded, heart racing. He had never piloted a ship, let alone one flying through an asteroid field at faster-than-light speed. But he remembered what Lyra had said. Humans adapt. They survive. He focused on the data screens, inputting calculations as quickly as he could. The first asteroids loomed ahead, massive and jagged. The ship shuddered as smaller rocks grazed its hull. Eli's hands shook, but he kept his focus. He adjusted the course, calculating angles and speed, while Lyra monitored energy shields and propulsion. "We're almost through," Eli said, trying to keep his voice steady. Lyra nodded. "Steady now." She made a swift adjustment and the ship twisted gracefully, avoiding a massive asteroid that would have crushed them both. As the last rocks passed, Eli exhaled sharply. His heart pounded, but there was also a thrill he could not deny. "We did it," he whispered. Lyra placed a hand on his shoulder. "Yes, humans can do remarkable things when they work together and remain calm. You proved that today, Eli." For the next few hours, the ship traveled smoothly. Eli had begun to understand the basics of space navigation, shield management, and emergency protocols. He was learning quickly, discovering that he could rely on his instincts and creativity even in unfamiliar territory. Then another alert appeared, more urgent than the first. The ship's AI detected a rogue pirate vessel approaching at high speed. Eli's stomach tightened. Pirates in space were not just stories, they were real, dangerous, and unpredictable. "Lyra, pirates?" he asked, his voice tight. "Yes," she said. "They are not hostile yet, but we must be prepared. We need to avoid detection or defend ourselves if necessary." The ship system allowed Eli to access defensive controls. He adjusted shield frequencies, checked energy levels, and prepared countermeasures. Lyra monitored communications, scanning for any signals from the pirates. As the pirate vessel came into view, Eli realized just how fast and agile it was. It moved like a predator, adjusting course with precision and intent. He felt a surge of fear, but also a strange excitement. This was real danger, the kind he had only read about in stories. "Eli, adjust the shield to harmonic frequency 3. Now," Lyra commanded. Eli moved quickly, following her instructions. The shields pulsed with a faint blue light. The pirate ship fired a warning shot, a streak of energy that hit the shields but caused no damage. Eli felt relief, mixed with adrenaline. "We need to escape," Lyra said. "Follow my lead. Use the asteroid field to confuse them." Eli nodded. They maneuvered through the field, using asteroids as cover while weaving the ship skillfully. The pirates tried to follow, but the combination of human instinct and Lyra's expertise allowed them to stay out of reach. After several tense minutes, the pirate ship gave up and disappeared into the darkness. Eli slumped in his seat, exhausted but exhilarated. "That was amazing," he said, still catching his breath. "I can't believe we made it," Lyra smiled. "Humans can be remarkable." "You are learning quickly, Eli. Courage, quick thinking, and focus. These are traits that allow humans to survive in situations where others might fail." The following days were filled with training, tasks, and learning. Eli learned to maintain the ship's engines, monitor life support systems, and assist Lyra in planning their route. Each day, he became more confident. He realized that humans were capable of adapting to extreme conditions, thinking critically, and solving problems creatively. During this time, they also encountered other phenomena in space. A field of glowing crystals drifting silently, a massive gas giant with storms raging across its surface, and distant signals from unknown sources. Each encounter tested Eli's curiosity, problem-solving skills, and courage. One evening, as they passed near a massive nebula, Lyra spoke softly. "Eli, you are beginning to understand something important. Humans are not just biological beings. We are explorers, creators, and survivors. In the vastness of space, those qualities matter more than anything else." Eli nodded, staring at the colorful clouds of gas and light outside the window. "I think I'm beginning to understand. Earth is just a small part of what's out here, and humans were capable of more than we know." Lyra placed a hand on his shoulder. "Exactly, and your journey is only beginning. Challenges will become greater, but so will your abilities. Trust yourself and trust in your human strengths." As they approached the outer edge of the system, another alert appeared. A strange signal had been detected, one that did not match any known human or alien pattern. The ship's sensors showed it coming from a nearby asteroid cluster. "Investigate it," Lyra said. "It could be a threat or it could be something valuable." Eli hesitated. Should we be careful? We don't know what it is." Lyra smiled. "Exactly, careful but curious. That is what humans do best." They approached the cluster slowly, shields up, sensors scanning. As they neared the source, they discovered an ancient derelict ship floating silently among the asteroids. Its metal hull was scarred and it seemed to have been abandoned for decades. Eli's heart raced. "An abandoned ship in space?" Lyra nodded. "Yes, and it is a chance to learn, explore, and test your skills. Humans are curious by nature. That curiosity is what drives progress." Eli boarded the derelict with Lyra, using a small shuttle from their ship. Inside, the air was stale, and the corridors were dark, illuminated only by their portable lights. He felt a thrill of adventure and fear at the same time. As they explored, they found old data logs, strange equipment, and signs of previous explorers who had attempted missions in this sector. Some rooms were damaged, others intact, but all carried a sense of history and mystery. "This is incredible," Eli whispered. "I can't believe this ship has been here so long. Who knows what stories it holds?" Lyra smiled. "Exactly. Humans have always sought knowledge. We explore not just for survival, but for understanding, for curiosity. That is why your presence here matters. Your mind, your skills, and your courage are essential." As they left the derelict and returned to their ship, Eli felt a deep sense of pride and purpose. He was no longer just a human from Earth. He was part of something greater, a journey that tested his abilities, challenged his mind, and expanded his understanding of what humans could achieve. The stars outside the ship seemed to shine brighter as he looked out the observation deck. He understood now that being human meant more than surviving. It meant learning, adapting, and embracing the unknown. Lyra watched him quietly, a small smile on her face. "You are ready for the next stage, Eli. Challenges will grow, but so will you. Humans thrive in the unknown. Remember that." Eli nodded, feeling a strange calm. Fear still existed, but excitement and determination had taken its place. The universe was vast and the challenges ahead were many. Yet he knew he could face them because he was human, and humans never give up. As the ship continued its journey toward Virlia, Eli thought about Earth, his old life, and the blind date that had started it all. It seemed a lifetime ago, yet it had led him here, to space, adventure, and a chance to discover the true power of humanity. And somewhere deep inside, Eli knew. The universe was testing him, and he was ready to rise. The stars stretched endlessly ahead, and with Lyra by his side, Eli felt prepared for whatever lay beyond the next horizon. The starship descended slowly through the upper atmosphere of Virlia. Eli pressed his hands against the observation deck's glass, eyes wide in amazement. Below lay a world unlike any he had ever seen. Lush green forests stretched across valleys, sparkling rivers wound through the land, and tall mountains pierced clouds that glowed faintly from the planet's twin suns. Cities of silver and glass shimmered in the sunlight, blending seamlessly into the natural landscape. Lyra stood beside him, her expression calm but proud. "Welcome to Virlia," she said. "This is our home. This is where humans and technology come together to create something extraordinary." Eli could hardly speak. The beauty of the planet, the sophistication of the colony, and the sense of life thriving in harmony overwhelmed him. "It's incredible," he finally managed. Lyra smiled. "It is, but beauty alone does not ensure survival. That is why your presence here matters, Eli. Our colony depends not just on technology but on humans like you, capable of thinking, adapting, and caring." The ship landed softly on a large platform surrounded by other vessels. As the ramp lowered, Eli noticed the colonists moving with purpose, interacting seamlessly with both humans and robots. Some carried scientific equipment, others guided automated transport vehicles, and children ran freely under the watchful eyes of their parents. There was a rhythm to life here, a sense of order and purpose that Eli found both calming and inspiring. Lyra led him through the main city, explaining the colony's structure. "We are divided into sectors," she said. "Research, agriculture, education, defense, and administration. Everyone contributes according to their skills, knowledge, and strengths. And now you will contribute too." Eli felt a mix of pride and nervousness. He had left Earth behind, faced asteroid fields, pirates, and derelict ships, and now he stood in a thriving colony light years from home. Yet the enormity of the task ahead, the expectation that he would play a role in the survival of this community, made his stomach twist with anxiety. Their first stop was the research center, a vast building filled with glowing consoles, floating holograms, and laboratories buzzing with activity. Scientists in sleek uniforms moved between stations, studying everything from alien flora to planetary energy systems. Eli felt a thrill of curiosity and excitement. "This is where your learning begins," Lyra said. "You will assist with tasks that require observation, problem-solving, and creativity. You may feel overwhelmed at first, but humans are resilient. You will adapt." Eli nodded, eager to begin. Lyra introduced him to several colonists, each welcoming him warmly. A tall woman with a kind smile explained basic lab protocols, while a younger man taught him how to navigate holographic data interfaces. Eli listened attentively, asking questions and learning quickly. Over the next few days, Eli adjusted to life in the colony. He learned to operate environmental controls, monitor energy systems, and assist with agricultural planning. He discovered that human intuition and problem-solving often succeeded where technology alone could not. When a drone malfunctioned in the greenhouse, Eli quickly identified the issue and repaired it, earning nods of respect from the colonists. Lyra observed his progress closely. "You are learning well, Eli. You see patterns, anticipate problems, and act decisively. These are qualities that cannot be programmed. That is why humans are vital to our survival." Despite the excitement, Eli also faced moments of doubt. The colony had strict rules, schedules, and expectations, and he sometimes felt out of place. At night, when the twin suns set and the city lights shimmered against the forests, he walked alone to clear his mind. The silence of the planet, broken only by distant wildlife and the hum of energy systems, made him reflect on the journey that had brought him here. One evening, as he walked through the forest bordering the city, he stumbled upon an elder colonist meditating near a small waterfall. The man's calm presence and serene demeanor intrigued Eli. "Eli," the elder said without opening his eyes, "you are far from home, yet you have adapted well. Do not fear your doubts. Humans are strongest when they learn from challenges. Each difficulty is an opportunity to grow. Eli nodded slowly. It's just so much. I didn't expect to be here to be part of something so big, and I'm not sure I can live up to it. The elder smiled. You have already proven yourself. You survived the journey, faced danger, and learned quickly. Now, your role is to continue learning, contributing, and growing. That is all that is required. Eli left the forest feeling a renewed sense of purpose. He realized that the colony's true strength lay not just in its technology, but in its people, the humans who adapted, cared, and persevered. The following week, Eli was assigned to a special task, assisting Lyra with planetary defense planning. The colony's sensors had detected a series of meteor showers approaching Violia. While minor in comparison to the asteroid field he had navigated before, these meteors could still damage infrastructure if not properly managed. Lyra explained the strategy. We will use a combination of automated deflection systems and manual intervention. You will assist with calculations and monitoring. Precision and timing are critical. Eli immersed himself in the task, analyzing data, predicting trajectories, and coordinating with automated systems. The work was intense, requiring focus and quick decision-making, but Eli thrived. He realized that humans' ability to adapt, think creatively, and act decisively gave them an edge over machines, which could only follow preset protocols. When the meteor showers began, Eli and Lyra worked tirelessly. Automated drones guided the smaller meteors away from the city, while they manually adjusted deflection systems for larger ones. Sparks flew, alarms blared, and the ground shook slightly as some meteors grazed the outskirts of the colony. Through it all, Eli stayed calm, relying on logic, observation, and intuition. By the end of the storm, the colony had suffered no significant damage. Lyra placed a hand on his shoulder. You see, Eli, humans are indispensable. Your ability to think, adapt, and act under pressure saved us. Eli smiled, feeling a mix of pride and relief. I never thought I could do something like this. But I guess humans are stronger than I realized. Lyra nodded. We are, and you are part of that strength now. Your presence here ensures the survival and growth of our colony. As the days turned into weeks, Eli grew more comfortable in the colony. He formed friendships with the colonists, learned more about Violia's unique environment, and contributed to research and defense projects. Each success, each problem solved, strengthened his confidence. One evening, Lyra invited him to the observation deck. The twin suns were setting, casting orange and purple hues across the city. Eli watched as the rivers glimmered and the forest swayed gently in the wind. Eli, Lyra said softly, you have adapted well. You understand now that humans are more than their bodies or technology. We are creativity, courage, and perseverance. You are proof of that. Eli turned to her, a sense of clarity filling him. I understand now. It's not just about surviving. It's about learning, contributing, and making a difference. I can do that here. I want to do that. Lyra smiled, a warmth in her eyes that Eli had not seen before. Good. Because the future of this colony, and perhaps many others, depends on humans like you. Humans willing to face challenges, embrace the unknown, and rise to the occasion. As the night deepened, Eli gazed at the stars above Violia. He felt a deep sense of purpose and belonging. He was no longer a man from Earth, uncertain and unsure. He was part of something greater, a colony that valued his skills, courage, and heart. And he knew that his journey was far from over. For the first time, Eli truly understood the responsibility he carried. His presence mattered. His decisions could shape the colony's future. And as he looked at Lyra, standing beside him, he realized that the invitation to join this colony had not been a random event. It had been a call to something extraordinary, something far beyond his ordinary life on Earth. Eli took a deep breath, feeling the weight and excitement of the journey ahead. He knew challenges would continue, dangers would arise, and problems would test him in ways he had never imagined. But he also knew that he was ready. Humans thrived in the face of adversity, and he was now living proof. As he prepared to sleep that night, Eli felt a profound sense of connection to the colony, to Virlia, and to the human spirit that had brought him this far. The journey was only beginning, but he was no longer afraid. He was part of something greater, and he was ready to embrace it fully. And somewhere deep inside, Eli smiled. The adventure continued, and he was finally ready to rise to the challenges that awaited. Eli awoke to the gentle hum of the colony's energy shields and the soft glow of Virlia's twin suns. He felt a sense of purpose more profound than ever before. Life on the colony had become routine in its own extraordinary way: research, maintenance, learning, and training. But he knew that today would be different. An urgent alarm sounded throughout the colony, shaking him from his thoughts. Red lights flashed in his room and echoed across the city streets. Eli rushed to the control center, Lyra already there, her expression serious and composed. "Eli, we have a situation," she said. "A massive storm is approaching the colony, one stronger than any we have encountered before. It threatens to damage infrastructure and risk the lives of our people. You must help coordinate evacuation and protection measures." Eli felt a surge of adrenaline. He had faced dangers before: asteroid fields, pirate ships, derelict vessels, but nothing like this. He glanced at the maps, showing the storm's trajectory, and saw how it could tear through residential sectors, research facilities, and power stations. "All right," he said, trying to steady his voice. "What's the plan?" Lyra pointed to a series of holographic icons. "We will use automated barriers to protect key buildings, reinforce structural supports manually where possible, and guide citizens to safe zones. You will coordinate all teams, human and robotic, to ensure maximum efficiency." Eli took a deep breath. This was more responsibility than he had ever faced, yet he felt ready. Humans thrived under pressure. They adapted. They found solutions when none seemed possible. And now he would put all of that to the test. He split the colony into zones, assigning teams to various critical points. He monitored energy shields, rerouted power to reinforce structures, and ensured evacuation routes were clear. People looked to him for guidance, and he felt a strange but empowering sense of leadership. The storm hit with incredible force. Winds howled through the forests surrounding the colony, lightning arcs danced across the sky, and rain fell in heavy sheets. Sensors showed debris moving at high speeds, threatening buildings and vehicles. Eli's mind raced. He coordinated teams, giving precise instructions while monitoring the storm's impact. One automated drone faltered, caught in a gust of wind, and Eli quickly rerouted another drone to assist. A structural beam cracked in a research facility, and he instructed a team to reinforce it before it collapsed. Hours passed in a blur of activity, adrenaline keeping him focused. The storm tested every skill he had learned, from navigation and systems operation to problem-solving under pressure. Yet he remained calm, relying on logic, intuition, and observation. At one point, a group of colonists became trapped near a collapsing transport hub. Eli calculated the safest route, coordinated the emergency team, and led them to safety, feeling their relief and gratitude as they reached a secure zone. Lyra watched him from the command center, pride in her eyes. "You are proving what humans are capable of, Eli. Courage, intelligence, and decisiveness. These are your greatest strengths. Today, you are saving lives and ensuring the survival of this colony." By nightfall, the storm began to subside. The damage was significant but not catastrophic, thanks to Eli's quick thinking and leadership. Colonists emerged from shelters, surveying the aftermath, and many looked to Eli with admiration and respect. Exhausted but fulfilled, Eli stepped outside onto a platform overlooking the city. twin suns had set, leaving the landscape bathed in a soft, calming glow. The storm clouds had cleared, and stars shimmered across the sky like scattered diamonds. Lyra approached him quietly. "You did well, Eli. The colony owes you more than words can express." Eli shook his head, still catching his breath. "I just did what had to be done. Humans, we survive. We adapt. That's all it is." Lyra smiled. "Yes, but not everyone can act as you did under such pressure. You have shown not only skill but heart, determination, and courage. That is what makes humans extraordinary and why you were chosen." For a moment, they stood together in silence, watching the colony recover. Eli realized how far he had come. From a nervous man turned down on a blind date, he had become a leader, a protector, and a valued member of a thriving community. Then Lyra turned to him, her gaze steady and warm. "Eli, there is one more matter we need to address." Eli's heart skipped a beat. He had a sense of what she meant, but he wanted to hear it. Lyra took a deep breath. "Yesterday, you proved what humans are capable of. Today, you have saved lives and ensured the survival of our people. You have shown courage, intelligence, and compassion, the qualities that make you human and essential. And now, I formally ask you, Eli, will you become my husband?" Eli blinked, taken aback. The words felt both surreal and natural. After everything they had experienced together, after the dangers and challenges, the proposal now carried weight, meaning, and genuine respect. Yes," he said finally, a smile breaking across his face. "I will." Lyra's expression softened, a mixture of relief and happiness. "Good. Together we will build a future, not just for ourselves but for this colony and for humanity's legacy among the stars." They clasped hands, the gesture simple yet profound. Eli felt a sense of completeness he had never known. He was no longer a man from Earth uncertain about his place in the universe. He was part of something greater, bound by purpose, respect, and now love. The following days were filled with restoration and celebration. Colonists repaired damaged buildings, tended to the land, and reactivated energy systems. Eli continued to assist, learning more about Virlia and its environment while deepening his relationships with the people around him. Lyra guided him through the intricacies of colony leadership, explaining responsibilities, long-term planning, and the vision for a sustainable human presence on the planet. Eli listened, learned, and contributed ideas, feeling both challenged and inspired. During quiet moments, they explored the forests and rivers together. Eli marveled at Virlia's unique flora and fauna, noting plants that glowed faintly in the dark and creatures that moved with intelligence and curiosity. He realized that humans had not only survived here but had the potential to thrive alongside the planet's natural systems. One evening, as the twin suns set once more, Eli stood on a cliff overlooking the colony. Lyra joined him, placing a hand on his shoulder. "Eli," she said softly, "this is only the beginning. Humans have a gift for adapting, surviving, and creating. Our future depends on that, and now we are building it together." Eli looked out over the landscape, feeling the weight and promise of the moment. He had faced danger, uncertainty, and fear, yet he had endured, adapted, and grown. He realized that being human meant more than just survival, it meant courage, creativity, and heart. "I understand," he said finally. "I know what humans are capable of. And I know I want to spend my life building this future with you here on Virlia." Lyra smiled, a warmth in her eyes that Eli had come to trust and admire. "Then let us begin, Eli, together." Days turned into weeks, and life on Virlia settled into a new rhythm. Eli and Lyra worked together to improve colony systems, train new arrivals, and ensure the safety and prosperity of their people. Eli continued to grow in confidence, skill, and understanding, proving that humans were not only capable of surviving in the vastness of space, but of thriving. The colony flourished. New technology integrated with human creativity, fields expanded with sustainable agriculture, and research continued to unlock the planet's secrets. Eli's contributions were recognized and celebrated, not as mere work, but as essential to the community's success. One morning, as Eli walked through the city center, children waved at him, colonists smiled, and robots moved seamlessly among the people. He realized that this was home, not Earth, not the life he had known, but a place where his humanity mattered, where courage and heart were as important as skill and intelligence. Lyra joined him, placing her hand in his. You see, Eli, humans are not just passengers in the universe. We are creators, explorers, and protectors, and you, Eli, are the embodiment of that spirit. Eli smiled, feeling a deep sense of fulfillment. I see it now. And I'm proud to be part of it, proud to be human, proud to be here with you. Lyra squeezed his hand gently. Then let us continue to build, to explore, and to thrive, together. As they looked out over Virlia, Eli felt the vastness of space, the challenges they had faced, and the journey that had brought him from a rejected blind date to a hero, a partner, and a vital part of humanity's future. He realized that humans were capable of extraordinary things, not because they were perfect, but because they dared, adapted, and persevered. And so, under the twin suns of Virlia, with the colony safe and thriving, Eli and Lyra stood together, ready to face whatever challenges awaited them. The stars stretched endlessly above, filled with possibilities, and Eli knew that humanity's spirit would continue to shine brightly, wherever the universe led them. The adventure had begun with a single blind date, but it had grown into a journey of courage, discovery, and love. Eli had discovered his place among the stars, and in doing so had proven that humans, ordinary yet extraordinary, could rise to meet any challenge, anywhere in the universe. And with Lyra by his side, he was ready to embrace the future, no matter how vast, unknown, or challenging it might be.